have a notion that being a civil engineer, you will only be sent to field and stand. You need to go 12 hours into stand into sun, and that just because you're a civil engineer. Because this knowledge, if I may say, if it was available for me at that time, it would have been greatly helpful. If greater focus is given to what knowledge, how much eager you are to learn that, that is more important.
Hello everyone. Today we have a very special guest. I have a very close friend of mine with me who went to IIT Bombay with me and did MTech in water resources. And I would like to share with you all his journey and where is he in his career right now. A lot of times we get to know how people prepared for MTech and other exams, but after that, where they are in their life right now, there are not many options for all of you to get to know about that, and it's a very important aspect for you to make the decision, and I would like to help you all in that. And for the same reason we are conducting these interviews, so let's get to know more from him about his career and how he decided to do his MTech, and later how did he select companies and where he is in his career right now. So, hello, Anzar. I mean, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where did you do BTech from, and your MTech journey.
Okay. Hi, Aditya. First of all, thank you for having me on this call. My name is Anzar Sajid, as you have told, and I have done my BTech from Delhi, from Galgotias College of Engineering, and my specialization was in civil engineering. Then after that, I got selected into IIT Bombay for water resource engineering, and my master's was basically in climate change research. And after that, I got placed directly from campus to Dar Al Hansa, where I was as a design engineer. So my journey after masters has been as having a role of design engineer and designing networks and all.
So tell us a little bit about like when a lot of the students are in college, they are basically thinking of one of or the other government exams, or PSUs. Yeah. These are the primary options that people consider, and the kind of opportunities that are there after MTech, those are not really widely like available. People don't know much about it. So were you in the same category? Were you considering joining a government PSU or any other government like public services, or you had the plan of to go for higher studies and then look for other things?
Actually, frankly, I didn't have any plan for both of them. I was not aiming to join any public services or any to give any government exam as usually students do. After doing masters, I had in mind, like, I was not I didn't have the mindset to continue studying after completing 4 years of BTech, then 2 years of MTech. I wanted to shift a bit and go into the industry and explore what are the options available. So as you rightly said, being a student at that time, I didn't have correct knowledge, or you can say I didn't have good exposure to what industry offers to students, especially civil engineering and who have done masters, what all jobs are offered to them. So as what I did was I explored with my seniors who had already gotten placed from the various companies that come to our campus. And through that, I got to know about Dar Al Hansa, where I got placed, where my seniors were also there. So it comes on campus. But after that also, I can say is for students, like I can just tell them that keep exploring. There are many roles. You just don't have to have a notion that being a civil engineer, you will only be sent to field and stand. You need to go 12 hours into stand into sun, and that just because you're a civil engineer. There are right now there are a lot of jobs available for civil engineer. Even you can do coding, you can design. As an example I can give, there is a company called Bentley Systems which designs software for civil engineers. So I have my friends right now working there, designing, coding, and preparing applications and everything. So it's not like you are a civil engineer, you need to be associated with that. Right now the industry demands our skills. So if you have the right skill set, you can be anywhere where you want.
Yeah,
So
that
my only advice would be like to focus on your skill set after your study, and just keep working wherever you want. Like keep exploring. Don't be fixated like you are a civil engineer. You have to do this. It's not like that. It's on you.
Now the next question is how most of us spent our BTech days, because again we didn't have any idea about like what are the opportunities. When you tell someone and when you even yourself think about it, as a civil engineer you think you have to go and do some construction related work, like
Exactly.
even design or whatever. It's like limited to construction industry on the like majority of the time. So
Yeah.
I would like to know if students can like as an option of exploring during BTech days, what are the things, like if they want to make a career in, let's say, water resources, then what would be the right things to do in their BTech days, that they can what are the right skills that they can attain?
Uh, Talking about BTech days to BTech to MTech jump, I would say one should rather focus on what kind of subjects they like in BTech, because that would be very helpful. The but Unfortunately, the scene in India is not like that. The, Looking at the competition we have and about the different aspect of getting selected into IITs, like it kind of favors. It favors what kind of pre-notion you have regarding what subjects you liked in your BTech. I will give an example with what happened with me. For example, I was not focused into any subject. Like I just it was not in my head I wanted to do transportation only, in masters in transportation or masters in structures only. I went ahead with my rank what I had, and it was advised to me like for example, if you I had a rank of around 900, so it was advised to me like if you apply for example in IIT Bombay, so they what they have is if you there are you have to give multiple choices of what specialization you want to apply in. So they give a certain weightage to people who give their first sell, like first what choice first
Preference,
choice you
yeah.
give.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, preference you give. So if you give your first preference in a category in a specialization which has a more probability for you getting selected, then you actually get selected. Even if a person who holds a rank, for example, let's say a person with a 500 rank gave his selection as priority as second for water resource, but me being a 900 rank holder and I gave my preference first, I would be given a preference. So this kind of criteria is different for different IITs. So you have to look out for that. What IITs, some like for example, IIT Roorkee is solely based on counseling. So it's like it's all based on your ranks. So first, it's good to explore which IITs give preference to which specialization. Plus, then comes if you have a certain preference for a certain subject. For example, if a student is very much attracted towards transportation and even structures design and all, then also I will say it may seem quite early for BTech students, but it would be good if they have a certain idea like after MTech what they want to do, if they want to go into PhD. So they see their for example in transportation what are the scope of research right now, or if they want to go into industry, then what is the scope of transportation. Or I'm just taking an example of transportation. It may be XYZ any subject. So what is the scope in industry in research, or it may be PSUs is altogether a different game. So you need to study everything. Then for industry and for research, you'll just have a short idea what is the scope of research or in industry for those subjects, whatever your interest is in. That may help. Plus, that may give you a good idea about the softwares that are there that you can do, that you can use. Like for example, in my BTech, I was not sure about getting an MTech in water resource, but somehow like in BTech, my the project we do in third year, fourth year, that was based upon HECRA software, that is on water river modeling software. So that somehow I guess inclined me towards my interest toward water resources. So that was one of the push. So your projects you do, that is also important. At that time BTech we don't give that much importance. I can understand students, but it will help you. Just don't, I'm not saying devote 100%, but just have an idea, because these are short platforms that only are second year training and all those are all the short things that exposes us to the industry and different things.
Now let's talk little more about your career. So as you said, you went to Dar Al Hansha after placement.
Yeah.
So I would like to know the nature of your job, little bit more about that, the kind of work that you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, the company that I was placed in is in Pune. The role that I was assigned was of design engineer. That's an entry role as I was placed directly from campus, and it's a core job basically. Core in the sense for water resource engineer, a core job is basically what we did was designing of networks. Networks as in everything that was related to utilities. We were a wholesome part of a broader domain, what was like infrastructure domain. So the projects that we were assigned were basically of designing stormwater drainage systems, sewer drainage systems, water pipeline design systems. So whatever that had wet associated with them, we used to design that. So if I talk about individually, storm drainage system, we used to analyze catchments. Then the flow generated from catchments, rainfall runoff methods, different theories and all that theoretical part we used to apply in our design. And we used to have multiple softwares which we used to run to design and analyze networks. Networks included pipes and all. For stormwater, even we used to design ponds. So that is also a part of that. Then coming to sewer network, we used to design for, as we know, sewer network. What we have manholes, we have pipes, we have STPs. Those all we used to design. Then coming to water network, we have WTP. Then from WTP, the main transmission line and the distribution network, everything. So it is very core job if you consider a water resource engineer or even an environmental engineer, because I had many friends in our team which were from environmental engineers. So it is a core job for both of them, because it involves many theoretical aspects that you need to, like the knowledge you need to have to be a good designer in that.
Yeah.
So those were kind of jobs.
So related to the same work, a lot of students will have, or I mean, even myself included, we know that in India, there is not that great level of, nobody, I mean, these kind of works are relegated. It's limited to those cities, municipal corporation, like if you talk about water network, sewerage network. So
yes.
the kind of work that you have been doing, are those projects related to work in India, or all of those projects are outside India? And do these companies give opportunities for their employees to work outside the country also?
That's a good question. Actually, what happened was, initially when I joined the company, I didn't have the idea about the project, what is the countries for which I would be working on. But slowly I got an idea that, as you correctly told, in India there are not much companies who directly get water projects, because water in India is very closely kept with the central government authorities, or you can say units. They basically do all the design. They may send it to different companies, but it is controlled by them only. So what the countries that I was working on was for Middle East, basically US, and even Africa, Angola, and Middle East, all countries like Saudi, UAE. I mean, we had some projects for India only. Also, we work on for the Mumbai, where there is a new link coming in Mumbai. There are links for that. We had worked in for Dar, and after Dar, I have joined two companies also, Jacobs and WSP. Right now, I'm working in Noida, WSP. And in that, I am working for Sweden. I'm directly, right now, I'm only focused for Sweden. All the products and all the design, all the networks that I told, that I'm working for Sweden only. So yes, you are right. There are not much Indian, if you are, but one thing I want to add is, if you want to work for like solely for Indian companies, there are local companies. It's not like that you don't have the exposure, or you won't have an opportunity to work for Indian companies. There are Indian companies, the local companies that you can work for, but the MNCs, the bigger MNCs, they largely like or the major chunk of their work comes from outside of India, because there's a term like GDC, or global helping center. You act as a global node who supports the other countries. So whatever work they would be having, they would be offshoring it to you, and you need to help them in that. So it's the major chunk of work comes from outside of India. But as I told, if you want to work for Indian companies, you can do that, and similar kind of work you will get for Indian companies also. So it's all upon your choice. Yeah.
Another thing that I would like to know is students don't have an idea where to look for such opportunities. If someone is not landing in an IIT, or let's say top NITs also, so how can they approach for their career if they want to make career in such a field?
For that, as I told in my first answer, right now it's I would say it's not more of your masters. If you want to come, I'm specifically answering for if you want to come to industry, not for research. It does not matter that much what if you have done masters, or from what college you have done masters. The number one thing that is important is your skill set, and how much eager you are to work on that skill set or enhance your skills. So talking about skills, I would say, first of all, you should have a good base of your theoretical knowledge. I'm assuming you have done BTech. So you should, whatever industry you are trying to apply in, you have thorough knowledge about that. Second important thing is, if, for example, you don't get selected in any course in MTech, you should, what I will say is, focus on getting software skills. Soft skills right now are in great demand in our industry. What I see are students, even myself. When I joined the industry, I would say zero knowledge about the soft skills. We all have some kind of knowledge about Excel work and all, like MS work. That does not count as a if you are in a design industry, that is like a basic skill. But if you want to be a professional in this, you need to have certain other skills, soft skills. For that, I will give one or two softwares that you can work on. First of all, what I think one of the major software is AutoCAD Civil 3D. There's a software which you can get hundreds of online videos and all for practicing and even having a good basic knowledge. That would greatly help you if you come into the industry. AutoCAD Civil 3D. Then there is a software suite specifically for water resource. If I talk about, there is HECRAS, HECHMS. These are basic softwares and very well used softwares in the industry still now. They are freely available. Still, they are very well used, and they are accepted by the clients. If I will say, the results are acceptable from the client point of view. So those are good to learn. They're not very difficult to learn, but good to have a knowledge of. And other softwares that are used are Bentley softwares. As I talked, InfoWorks, Stormcad, StableStorm. These are actually paid software, so that would be quite difficult for students to have access to. But they can still view YouTube links, YouTube videos for that, which may help.
Majority of the software, I think, give like student version of like trial version sort of for students like.
Yeah, yes, but talking about these industry softwares, I don't think I'm scared. I don't think they provide these kind of free software. They are very costly softwares. Actually, Stormcad is, I guess, one license is around 12-15 lakh rupees, and InfoWorks it's like 25 lakhs. So they are very costly and very like resource demanding software, and you need to have. But as I said, you can look for videos, online videos. There are many videos available from which at least you will have a know-how of the interface. And what is the basics? You can download the manual and what is the basic engine and what is all required. Because that will, I must say, greatly help you if you have that skill in your resume. That will elevate your resume by many folds. Yeah.
Even if you're learning a basic software like these free open source softwares, HECRAS, that itself will be a good plus in your.
That would be a major plus, not only a minor plus. That would be a major plus for your for your industry career, I may
Yeah.
say, because that is what is in demand. Actually, people don't know. People think if they are coming in water resource, if they just have the theoretical knowledge, and that helps. That helps. Eventually, you need to have the knowledge to understand the software, but at the end, you also need to have that soft skills. Communication skills are also very important, but yes, you need to have the soft skills also to be at par with it. Because what these days industry people is, there is a meme also they are demanding is, if you are a new joiner, you need to have at least 3 years 4 years of experience. So that is actually the case, and because they, not many companies, if you talk about small companies, they are not ready to give
Training.
devote certain time for training. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually required, but still, you like, for example, when we joined, we were directly assigned to a project, and our training happened on the project.
Yeah.
So it was, so it would be good for you as a student. If you have that prior knowledge, you can work on this software.
I think these were the questions I had, and if you want to add anything other than whatever we have talked about,
I guess that's what that's good, and I will like to thank you on from the behalf of all the students, because this knowledge, if I may say, if it was available for me at that time, it would have been greatly helpful. These are small things. Yeah, because these are very basic and small things, and what we as a students I don't have a knowledge about other fields, but specifically for civil engineering, we don't know where shall we go, what shall we do. We all are just focused, and we all are just what we call bhed chal. We are doing that, whatever our seniors tell you. Yes, whatever our seniors will tell, जो भी सब कर रहे हैं, we will continue doing that, because we are just focused upon what we know. We don't explore that much. So as I said, in being a civil engineer, you can do anything. But it's just you need to know what you like, and you just acquire.
Yeah, we see like there are so multitudes of opportunities. Even all the branches are so diversified. Like transportation are like completely different. Similarly, geotech, structures, all are like completely different fields.
All are different.
Yeah.
And one more thing I would like to add, I forgot to add in the point you raised. Even if you work in this company, you get the opportunity to go outside of India also. I also got the opportunity to go to Middle East and all. So that also, if you are interested, if like you have an idea, you need to go, you want to go outside, you need to work outside of India. Those opportunities also you get.
That's a great point, because a lot of students from civil, they think like their counterparts,
they won't get opportunity.
IT, CS, like they are
going to US, they are going to UK, and
they think like they are in this bad branch, but these are all.
But it's not like that. Yes, it all at the end, it all depends where you see yourself and how you want to see your career growth, like what career path you want to take. For being a civil engineer, it won't be like in 2 years you would be promoted as a senior. What we see for our IT counterparts, it's not like that. In civil engineering industry, your experience matters a lot. So initially you need to spend some time in industries, because you see, for an IT person, they whatever BTech knowledge they learn, they directly start to apply into their industry as in their industry career. But it's not similar in civil engineering. You spend your 1 or 2 years in the industry learning, getting trained with respect to what industry demands. Then you start to be of a certain value to the industry. So that is what
time your experience has like much higher value. If you see 10 years, 15 years down the line, it's like
exactly. It is of a very high value of a civil engineer, the experience. So that's what you just need to be a little patient, and it is very important. That's why you get to know in what career path you need to be in. So I know people who in 1 or 2 years went got trained and got good exposure to in good MNCs, got exposure and discussions with their counterparts in US or UK, and they directly went there. Even I have colleagues who have went to Sweden and they have permanent jobs there. So it all depends on you, where you see your career.
That's really amazing. Like all these points will be, I think it will be very useful for.
I hope so. I hope so.
It will be really useful to all the students, because in these times, as the result also came out recently, a lot of students will feel like hopeless. They don't know which direction, because they just think only this option is available. So
we need to, like, people need to change that. Like if greater focus is given to what knowledge, how much eager you are to learn that is more important. specifically industry point of view. Yeah.
Okay, then this is I think this
Thanks.
will be a amazing informational session for all the students. And thank you for joining me. It's been a few days since I've been trying to take this interview.
Thank you, Aditya.
Chalo then.